and welcome to Ideas with Impact podcast. I am so excited to have this special guest, Tina Prodnik, who has dedicated her life to the pursuit of holistic health and wellness. And with the rich background of molecular biology in integrative medicine, Tina draws from her personal experience, including wisdom passed down from her beautiful grandmother and her journey through the pharmaceutical industry. Now, she is based in Switzerland, and she combines her knowledge and functional and anti-aging medicine to empower others in their health journey. So welcome, Tina. How's it going?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And I'm really happy to be here and connect and share.
Yeah, I'm super happy you said yes. It was such a coincidence because I was listening to Jai, and you were interviewing her. And what really inspired me to connect with you, it was all about your journey to Egypt, because
Yes.
I am too somehow connected and I feel that pull to go there. I've never been there myself, but every year I was like, I need to go there. I need to go there. I need to go there. So I would love to hear about how you got connected and how what have you explored and what have you found in Egypt?
Yes, Egypt for me was really interesting because I didn't really plan to go. I just submit a little bit for waiting list. I didn't even believe that I can go there. But
Mm.
then on 16th of January, a lot of keys coming together, and I got invitation and other stuff coming up nicely. So I just decided to go. So 10 days after, I was already in Egypt. And
Mm.
yes, I was really lucky because the group was really amazing. We went with Robert Edward Grant, and
Mm.
we explore, this ancient culture. But also we were lucky because we were not like programmed with the history maybe that it was telling in the school. So like a little bit mind open guides, and also we saw a lot of temples and a lot of interesting things. And this river of Nile, it's amazing because it's like all the history of human, it's coming from Africa. So they all needed to go through this path, through this river of Nile. So it's like uh, taking this information when you're going there. And of course, all these temples and everything what you see, it makes me really humble. And when you see things, how they this made, we don't know actually, and you see the technology that they must to have. I don't know who, but it give you like, for me was like I see a little part of that, the life we all humans, I think. And that is much bigger that we see with our eyes. So this for me was really amazing. And of course the temple of Otter was for me because I love also astrology and so on. There were a lot of astrology sign, and the energy was so beautiful. And of course, Isis temple, I got vagina. We realized that I got initiation there. That this is why I needed to go to Egypt, you know. And yes, it was a lot of different things, energies, and also group was so
Mm.
beautiful souls, and it was really inspiring. And I think it is slowly like coming up why still you I needed to go. I know a
Mm.
little bit now, but I think it will roll on further. But it's like really
Mm.
amazing. I'm really.
I love listening to Robert Edward Grant and how he explains everything when again, like we are also connected. And I think last episode that I was listening to him, as he was talking about how the pyramids are connected with a musical note. So
Yes,
it's like every pyramid has a different key to
yes,
like the music,
yes,
which is so fascinating. And oh my
exactly.
goodness, just getting goosebumps
Yes,
talking
because
about it.
the universe, and
Mhm.
it's like, the like how you will say, the language of the universe. It's like music, and also geometry. So when you see that how it's playing, and patterns that you see in the nature, you can observe, and that is showing everywhere, where, like, also nerve cells are similar, like the universe or the lightning. And it's like really, really open-minded when you start to look that, and you see there's something much bigger. And actually we were part of that. We are part of this bigger picture. We are all like from one expanding to different parts of energies. Like you and me, I see like that. It's like you are different aspect of me.
Mhm.
And when you look like that, when you look like that, that you don't want to wish someone something that is you don't wish for yourself.
Mhm.
And like we are all connected, and that's also quantum physics, entanglement, that it can get a Nobel Prize in 2022, how the two particles are immediately reacting to one another immediately. It's going information so fast, faster than light. So we are like, what we are thinking, how we are speaking, what frequency we are using, that is our music that is going out of the universe, and it's affecting not just us, our family, but also all the others. And this, I think it's very important for future, that we realize that we are really connected, that you are never alone. But in the same time, yeah, it's like we are like facing each other. We are giving each other like mirrors, where
Mm.
to
The
grow.
reflection of ourselves in another human being,
And
right?
yes, and everything
Mhm.
what is happening in our life, the most difficult things, they're telling us something, and they are opportunity to grow. When we look at the opportunity to grow, it's much easier, and you can expand that, and it's
Yeah,
easier to transform.
expansion of the conscious mind, and there's so much more than just ourselves, right? It's like
Yeah,
how, I always ask myself that question. I'm like, where do we go wrong? How can we forget the history? Like, what has happened in the last, I don't know, let's say 10,000 years to humanity that we forgot all of that stuff, you know?
yeah, we don't know if
We
before
don't
the.
know. And I think that's where we're searching for it right now.
Yeah, but I think that we are in the good place, now. I'm happy that we are here and now, because it's starting to change. It's starting to
Mhm.
open our mind. And, it's really nice to live now in this time, because I think change will comes. And yes, it's good for us that we realize all these basic, that we are just part of one consciousness, and maybe higher self or higher consciousness of ourself know much better than we. And we should trust this path, where to go, and to go with this your intuition, to tap in the higher self, to
Mhm.
tap on the yourself, and go to this intuition. And then you decide, you go left, you go right, you go straight, you go forward, whatever it will tell you. And then the things coming, the people that support you, the everything is coming, and it start rolling and rolling and rolling. But in this point in time, I think, it's like trauma from the past also coming up, that it was like suppression of different things, and then it's going to extremes. That is natural circles. It's going to some extremes, and then it's balancing back. I feel that extremes that we have now, that we can see, they will start balance naturally. So but we need to realize also that we are living in the world that it's like a lot of pollution. It's quite toxic. It's toxic, not just our thoughts, that can be also not just media, that can be information, but also our food, and also our environment, and our body, physical body is really overwhelmed. And we need to take care of physical body that will be healthy and that energy can flow, and then it's much easier also to do all the other things, connecting to yourself, going to your soul path, or whatever you would like to say.
Yeah, it's the connection of the body, mind, and soul, right?
Yes, absolutely. Because I'm teaching a lot. And always when I teach, I strongly believe that vibrant longevity, it's really connecting to all levels of human. That's physical, that's mental, that's emotional, energetical, and spiritual.
Mhm.
If we address all these levels, then can really get to this vibrant health and, of course, vibrant longevity. So I think this is really, really important.
Hmm. So now, since we're on a little bit topic of connection, can you share some of your fondest moments with your grandmother and how they influence your path
Yes.
in the health and wellness industry?
Yes, when you go back, when you're thinking now in this age, almost half a century, and then you think back, and you realize that everything had sense. And yes, I always had this passion for knowledge, and passion for knowledge about the health, how human body works. This is why I also choose, for me was now other secondary school than medical secondary school. So I got already their knowledge. And between my grandmother became, of course, she got, like most of the people, sick, chronic disease, diabetes, and so on. And I was, also observing around why people doing things that they hurt themselves. The alcohol, the too much sugar, the food, and why they are doing that, because it was that time already showing that it's not good for your health. And when I saw my grandmother, how she was suffering with this diabetes, of course, it involved heart attack, and then after pain, neuropathic pain. And this is why I said I would really like to prevent this. I would really like to understand. And then somehow I went to molecular biology because I thought, okay, when we go to the genes, to the base of the genes, then we will realize, when we'll get genetic code. So after I started to work, it came like pharmaceutical industry. So I was learning about how different, how can affect the different molecules on the health. It was also good knowledge. But after my journey comes, I went to Switzerland. So I was here, I got first child, and so I was really going back where I was actually my soul mission. So I went to study back. So I did PhD on natural and integrative medicine, and the same time functional medicine, and the same time my mother also became sick. My grandmother was difficult. She also died after, and she got a cancer, and she died actually in 2 weeks. So it was really difficult experience. But I said, if I couldn't help her, I would do everything to at least change someone's life, to help, to be, to do something. So I went deep. So it was came functional medicine, anti-aging medicine, hormone. So it was all like going naturally, one after another. So it's yeah, it
Mm.
started with this trying, or really have passion to understand and to see what is chronic disease.
Mm. Yeah, it's that's where it starts. Usually it's with a family member who has some sort of a disease, and we feel like we are helpless at that point until
Yeah.
we get to a certain point when if we cannot help our own family, we can help others. And I think that
Yes.
is so powerful.
Yes. And I realized the system doesn't have really
Mhm.
answers for the chronic disease, because
Yeah.
last 50 years, okay, the longevity went a little bit up, but not healthy longevity,
Right.
the health, you know. Um, it's like lifespan, but not health span.
Hmm.
So the health span didn't change really.
Hmm.
So then you see that we have the problem with also to understand and to do right things.
Hmm.
So this is why I was searching some other options. So I went to these other studies, and I really wanted to understand, because wherever I went, I didn't get real everything what I need. I said it's still missing, so I add a little bit
Hmm.
different knowledge. But yeah,
Because you also worked in the pharmaceutical companies, and
yes.
what have you learned there? How do you apply that into your practice right now, for example? Because pharmaceutical and holistic is completely different, right?
Yes, exactly. And it's nice to see two poles always in your life.
Yeah,
Also
because
in
one way
yourself.
is not the right way, right?
Yes,
We need
yes,
other interventions so that way if there's something super serious, well, we have that
that's
medical.
yeah, exactly. That should be alternative, also
Mhm.
classical medicine should be alternative when nothing else is actually working, and you need operation or something,
Mhm.
but it's also we need sometimes something, maybe when we have really pain, or if it's not like completely you disconnect with others. I think
Mhm.
we need to combine everything, like classical, like functional, like
Mhm.
integrative, medicine, but I got some knowledge how for me, how the body even deeper, because I was like researching how this working, this molecule. And I had also passion, like now more than 20 years, with orthomolecular, about the supplements and nutrients and so on. And this also helped me a bit, understand a little bit more, and the basic concept of pharmacology.
Mhm.
So and yes, I was also studying a lot nutraceutica and so on. So I develop now myself my own, so it's it's every, even if it's not looking that it should be there, if it was there, it was meant to be that it was there.
Mhm.
So I was not long there, but still I was there, and I think it gave me something that I'm like who I am. I know the side effects. I know that a lot of people die from the side effects of the drug, for mistake
Mhm.
also, that it can happen in the hospitals.
Mhm.
And it gives you all the perspective, so yeah.
Yeah, but it's also knowing that there's these modalities that we can help these people. And I think because my background, like I'm from Europe myself, right? From Poland. And I remember as a young child when I went to a doctor, the doctor was alternative, but he was also a medical doctor who, if you really need it, they're like, well, you have a flu, for example. Well, I'm
Yes.
not going to give you an antibiotic. He goes, well, drink some honey with water with honey and cinnamon, stay in bed for 3 days, make sure you take some garlic. And when I came to Canada when I was about 15 and I went to see a doctor, there was nothing like this here.
Yeah, it was nothing like that also
It was
here.
nothing like this, it was
So
just
you
right
were
away,
lucky.
here's your antibiotic. And I mean, my parents were always very against it. They're like, no, she doesn't need antibiotic just for flu, but like there's other ways to deal with it. So I was never exposed to too much antibiotics throughout my life.
That's good.
which is great because, as we all know, antibiotic can really damage your underlying gut layer and cause a lot of other issues down the road when you're an adult. Hmm.
And microbiome. And
That's
if
it.
with that, we have already problem with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
microbiome communicate with our mitochondria, and they are
Right.
like the same, like sisters, or brothers, because they come all from bacteria, yeah, from
Hmm.
one theory. So they affect mitochondria that gives us energy. We need energy for everything, like for
Mm.
thinking, for also for going through the day, but also for regenerate our body and for immune system. And
Right.
they connect it to the brain, and they tell you what to eat. And sometimes you are not guilty. If you want sugar and so on, you can think, okay, maybe it's candida in my in my intestine that is overgrowth, and then she wants sugar,
Mhm.
and of course it's antibiotic and other drugs are, yeah, they can be damaging if
Mhm.
they are
Mhm.
exposed too much,
Yeah,
and
no.
it can
I
be
mean, it's good to have them when you have them, when you really need them for sure, but
exactly,
just don't overdo it, right? So, yeah.
exactly. I agree.
What's your intake on herbal medicine? Do you use herbal medicine in your practice?
Yes, I love herbal medicine also, and I love all, herbal medicine, but also like I'm working a lot with amino acid, I'm working with the vitamins and to support the liver, and I combine everything. So yeah, I love it. Yes, I'm use it because this in the culture in the Europe, especially, that I can say we are quite lucky because this we were using the parents, they know about herbal medicine, and I was always learning and pick up, and I was small
Mhm.
already, so I was really connected to the nature, what is really really important, because we are the nature. And this I think is the first thing to do it, absolutely.
I remember my grandmother when I was a little kid, and we used to go there for the weekends or for the summer. She lived in a country, so like we lived in a city, but then through the summer, my mom would be like, "That's it, you guys are gone for 3 months, right?" And I remember, she had this tree, linden tree,
Mhm.
lipa. I
Yeah,
don't know how you said it, linden, I guess. And I
yes.
remember sitting there, and my grandmother, who was probably in her 60s back then, she would be on the ladder. And we were kids, we were young, probably like 5, 6, and so on. And she would sit there with my aunts or whoever on the tree, picking all the linden in these big bags, and then going upstairs on the they had like a roof, like a top roof, and
Mhm.
laying it all flat and then drying it in the sun. And then she would use that in
Mm.
teas throughout the winter. Again, when we were cold, she would give us bags to, like, my parents or my cousin's parents, and they're like, "Here, there's your stuff.
Yes.
Make sure you keep giving to the kids when they don't feel well." So it was these memories I have, because I also love herbal medicine. I think it's so powerful, and it's obviously not a quick fix, but it's a longevity. Like, it's a longer process to get you to the point where you want to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the herbs and everything that you can use every day, also when you're cooking,
Yeah.
that's like, super food with a lot of nutrients, with phytonutrients that they protect
Mm.
our bodies. And this is also here a lot, the history, from France and so on. It's like, also essential oils. What can you do with
Yes.
essential oils? I love essential oils. I was also using a lot essential oils with children when they were sick,
Mhm.
because they are
They're
stronger.
safer.
Yeah, they have information, and they have some special properties like antivirus, some antibacterial, some combined, and because they have spectre, they are balanced, they actually balance your body. So I love this stuff. And
Mm.
here what we have also, what I love still, is like a lot of people have still their gardens, and they grow their foods. So I think this is really, really important, because this, then you know what kind of food you have, what you put it on, and so on, and if it's growing on the sun. And yeah, this is really really a nice thing. And I motivate people also on this point of view: grow your food what you can, even if it's only herbs or teas or mint or whatever. And you connect you to your environment, you connect you to your land. And it's also electrical charge in the land, so you connect the electrical charge to the earth. And microbiome when you work with the land. And I think it's no excuse, you can now have it also on the balcony and so on. And yeah, this is those are important, like little things that yeah, we can
Do you
have.
think now in our today's society we are too clean? So everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be super disinfected. Um,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. This, I think, it's not
how
right.
does this reflect on ourselves?
Yes, because the body, especially with the children, they need to be exposed to different bacteria, because still the immune system is growing and it's learning what is myself, what is not myself. And if they are not exposed to different bacteria and so on, the body can't, it's not balanced. And this is why allergy can comes, sensitivity can comes, and so on. And also killing the way we need to know, like we talk about the microbiome, but we have microbiome in the liver, in the lungs, it's everywhere. So it's not like, and needs to be in balance. And if we think that we will just put some chemicals or alcohol on the hands, of course we need to wash the hands, but still, I think the children needs to be exposed to the land, exposed to the different bacteria, and that enrich their microbiome, and also learn how to, immune system, how to work properly. Yeah.
I always say, let them eat dirt.
Yes, exactly. It's not a big deal. It's actually beneficial. So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah, I have three children. Now they're much older now, but yeah, it was same thing. I would just get them naked, get them
Yeah.
outside, play
Mm,
in sand, play in dirt. If it was raining, it was just go outside, just do
yeah.
your own thing, and yeah, just
Yeah.
expose them to as many elements as possible. So that way
Bravo.
their bodies can become resistant and they can actually be healthier at the end when
Yes.
they become
Yes.
adults.
And they
Mhm.
need to move, they need to go to the head and the nervous system also,
Yeah.
and it's like that. I have also three boys, and it was necessary that they go out when they were small. Now they're teenagers, but it's, yes, this is very very important to realize, and that we don't need to sterilize everything.
Yeah, yeah, I
Absolutely.
agree.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on hormones?
Uh, Hormones are very important messenger in the body. They control a lot of different things: our brain, our bones, our heart, our vessels. It's a part of us. They are messengers. And um, if when you probably ask me what is happening when you coming to premenopause and menopause and so on,
Mhm.
uh, yes, and also because of the environment and the toxic environment that we have, that's really, really difficult to avoid. And what we need to do, at least the house is, that we don't have toxic, that we don't clean with toxic things and so on, because our livers are really overwhelmed. And the livers are very, very important for the hormones, for the toxifying hormones. microbiome that we are talking, they are very important for balance, for the hormones. And liver also activate T4 thyroid hormones to T3 that is becoming active T3, and it is start working, and this is why so many women had problems already before premenopause. They have a lot of problems of not balanced hormones, that, and of course estrogen dominance, because we have a lot of also toxicity that they are working, that they're these toxin like act like hormones also,
Mhm.
so it's like it's a big topic. And we need to detoxify real way. We need nutrients. We need to right nutrients for liver to really detoxify good. When we support liver, we need to support all three phases of detoxification, not just one, because it's more toxic. It can damage the liver. So we need to know that, and it's affect the hormones. So when the woman coming, like 40s are premenopause, and the first thing that's happened is mostly because of stress also, no, because when we have stress we are using a lot of hormones,
Mhm.
and then it's again not balanced. And when we talk about the hormones, we always go from up down, and what is up? Up is sugar metabolism. It's sugar, it's
Mhm.
insulin. We need to be healthy here. We need to have stable sugar and so on. And then it's adrenal health. Adrenal, that is making cortisol, adrenaline, and other hormones, DHEA, and so on. And when we fix that, then it's thyroid. And then thyroid maybe start, even if we have problem, a little bit balance. And down, then when we fix all the other aspects,
Mhm.
then they came hormones like testosterone, estrogen, and so on, and progesterone. So this is how we do it. And what is happening is that when we going premenopause, we can become estrogen dominant.
Mhm.
So the progesterone ovulation, it's not every time, and we are stressed and so on, it's no progesterone, and this can be quite dangerous. Né? The first thing is because if it's not balanced hormone, everything is balanced. Even if they are low, they need to be balanced. If
Mhm.
it's too much estrogen and no progesterone, what can happen? It can happen that you support the growth. It can support cancer also,
Mhm.
so cancer, it can support, it can go, you don't feel well anyway, you have PMS, you don't feel, you have water, everywhere. So this is the problem. And liver again needs to be healthy to really detoxify this estrogen on the right path, because you have three levels. One is really clean, that is going protecting estrogen part of degradation. The other, it's okay. The one, it's like dirty river, and it
Yeah.
can damage you, like your genetic material, and it can promote also cancer. So it's all these aspects, they are very, very, very important if we go to natural. When we put about the hormones, you probably want to ask me also about the hormones we can add or not, or something like that. You're interested in that?
Yes, of course. I think a lot of women will be very interested in this right now.
Yeah.
So it's a big
Yes.
hot topic about hormones. Yes.
Yes, hormones are really important, and like it
Mhm.
said, it needs to be balanced and needs to be right amount. So, and it's when you add hormones, you always need to think of bioidentical hormones. Bioidentical are what? The formula is the same like our hormones. You don't, estrogen is always bioidentical cream. You don't take a pill.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Progesterone, it can be the pill, and you can add safely with right dosage and right looking, right balance, the hormones when you became, you're like, premenopause and menopause and so on. Because some women, maybe they don't need, or maybe they need some support like from the
Mhm.
beginning when it's transition, and then they're balanced, if they don't have stress, and if they're not too thin, because when you're really thin, you can't make enough estrogen after menopause, and adrenals needs to be healthy, because after ovarian stop working, you need to make, adrenals will make the hormones, DHEA, and you need to have a lot of precursor like pregnenolone. Where is coming pregnenolone? From cholesterol. So you need enough healthy fat, and we are from fat. Our brain are a lot of fat. They need to be healthy fat for our membranes of the cell, that information can go nicely in the cells. And like we said, also hormones are information, and they have low like inflammation. When we have high inflammation, it's damaging your body. When we have high sugar, it's damaging your body, it's damaging your vessels and everything. And you don't want to go there, but because when you will come where my grandmother was, and I believe that hormones are really protective. I was studying a lot about hormones because I didn't get answer in one place enough. I was not happy. So I was studying, yes, at A4M and functional medicine, and also natural medicine, and also Dr. Herzog, because he's the biggest, the knowledge about hormones. But I believe that it can be protective. It needs to be bioidentical. We need to do it right time, right way.
So do you recommend bioidentical hormones to almost every woman that is going through or is starting perimenopause? Or this is something where they would have to get tested and then go into that kind of decision of what hormone they need to balance their hormones?
Absolutely. We always test. You need to test. You need to absolutely, if you didn't do that, you need to test your D vitamins. That's absolutely. And it's also connected to the hormones. And it's like a hormone. It's working like a hormone. You don't know if you don't see. You need to test, especially when you test, you can compare after, But the most important are your symptoms still, So you need to know your symptom. You need to have some questionnaires, and then
what are the main symptoms for a woman to know where she needs to contact a person like yourself, for example, to get
the symptoms are like, we all know, it's like when you start it, you're like premenstrual syndrome. It's not okay. Your menstrual, if you're thinking also premenopause, then you are not yourself anymore. You can't think. You are like you have this foggy thinking, and you are tired. It can be cortisol, because this, what I said, you always start up, with the sugar, the balance your sugar, you fix your cortisol. And a lot of women that I was teaching, because I teaching also the groups, they had low, they fix a lot. And then you can add, raspberry or something to help you for the beginning with the progesterone, and you can add pregnenolone for the beginning. You don't need to go immediately to the hormones. You always start with this basic. You need to have enough fat, you need to have enough precursor for hormones, and then when it's time is going, and you see that you are estrogen dominant, you will normally start, I would suggest, with progesterone, because it will protect you. But you need to see it. You can have the symptoms, but if it's really heavy menstruation, PMS, you are not good. Your stomach is like, like you were pregnant almost one before. So you can see that already it's not okay, and it's probably not enough progesterone. With the time, of course, also estrogen will be low. But at the beginning, maybe you will need only some pregnenolone, maybe some DHEA, and maybe some progesterone. And from DHEA, the body will make testosterone. That's really important also for women, and also estrogen. I just don't recommend immediately now we just go to the hormones. No, just do this and that, slowly. But of course, when you come to menopause and so on, maybe you will need both. But the same, you also need to check yourself. You need to check your breast, you need to check you. It's good to go to gynecologist all you every year. I don't know how you have it now in Canada or US,
Mhm.
but you need to know. And if you have in the family like cancer, and if you see this is why I like to see also with the people that they have family history with the cancer, breast cancer or whatever, that it's ovarian cancer, that maybe we can see how good you are transforming estrogen, because this is very important, because you need to have enough B vitamins to really have good methylation that will be your metabolite, that they will be protect you, not carcinogen.
Mm.
So it's all these, so it's we need to like be passionate about the health, passionate about all these things, and you gain energy with that, and balance hormones, and yeah, but it's all supporting the liver. Be careful with the stress, how you dance with stress, and especially food. And when the woman come like in 40s, like
Mhm.
premenopause, so on,
Mhm.
the body start changing a little bit. You can't eat whatever you want. You need to move, and you need to have enough of muscle mass. Muscle mass, it's like they also growth hormone. It's working, testosterone. It's start building. When you have enough, and we need to build the muscle mass, because this is the best anti-aging hack, I think,
Mhm.
also to the future, because after it's much much more difficult, but it's all interconnected with everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yes, and you need to think all of that, and then you add if it's necessary, and you decide. But I think it can be protective.
Mhm. It's like having that balance in the physical, mental, and the spiritual
So,
um, aspects of the entire health of a human being, especially as a woman, because we do have so many more hormones than a man does. Men do also have hormones, but because we are in, reproduction, we create little humans, and all these hormones are there for those reasons. But yeah, once it gets off balance, then like you said earlier, I think we're in this cascade of um, I don't want to say difficulties, but the prevention. Make sure that you prevent certain diseases and cancers, like you said. So yeah, I agree. It's very
yes,
well
because
said.
it can be protective, also protective
Mhm.
for cancer if they are balanced, because if they will be carcinogen, actually,
Mm.
our hormones, they can be carcinogen, what we get from in pharmacy, the hormones, contraceptive, this is other story. We don't talk about that. We talk about bioidentical hormones,
Mhm.
because when the woman is pregnant, it should the hormones like in the sky, skyrocketing hormones, they would all got get cancers if this would be the truth. And it they are protective, and also protective against chronic disease if they are in balance. If everyone needs to have it, I don't know, Dr. Hertog would say yes. I would say maybe not, or maybe just sometimes, depends, but they can be protective. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, no, I think I am also in this process of going through perimenopause.
Yeah, me too.
So
It's the
we are
same.
all going through that stage, and protecting ourselves is definitely, um, being in better state than our grandparents were, right?
Exactly. And here
Mhm.
we what I wanted to say before, and I didn't said, it's like you really need to start thinking about your future, but it's also like when the woman coming on 40s, it's also changed a little bit. You have a little bit more time slowly for yourself, and you need to think about yourself, I would say first, because if you are in good shape, in good energy, then also you can help others. So, and also what you're eating. So you really need to be, the food that is nutrient dense, that is low glycemic index, that is not overwhelming the metabolism. And this all will also help with transition. It's the Even if you do the hormones, if you don't do the food and the stress, the hormones are not working the same. They would work, but not the same like they should. So this is very important part. And also, when the women are thinking, like sexuality
Mhm.
and intimacy, and when we were talking about energy, when you go different way, when you go with the energy and you flow energy, you can also do, when you do intimacy, a little bit different, like almost like tantric,
Mhm.
it's like feeding you with energy. It's also much much less hormones, you
Mhm.
know when you do that, and when you do all these spiritual, and you really connect, yourself, and you know what you want in your life,
Mhm.
everything changed. That's amazing. But that
Yeah.
I saw many 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 times.
Yeah, it's a different shift than when we were in our 20s, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, yeah.
It's like reventing or reinventing that new woman when we hit in our 40s and 50s, and also like you said, to prevent these diseases in the future. So when you're like in your 60s and 70s, when you do fall, for example, and you break your bone or whatever, having that exercise and, like you said earlier, build that muscle so that way
Mhm.
you do have that strength. When you do fall, you have less injuries, right?
Exactly. Less
Hmm.
injuries, but also the muscle mass. Like, of course, it's injuries. That's
Hmm.
still a lot of people.
Yeah.
They go in the hospital, and yeah, it's absolutely important, and that you have balance. But also, we need to understand the muscle mass is metabolic reserve,
Hmm.
and it helps us to prevent chronic disease, and with the when the time goes, it's like when we add the years, it's more and more difficult to gain muscle mass. It's always possible, or also with when you are 80, it's never never too late, but it's much better when you start it, in 40s or 30s or 50s. You really need to think about that. It's a big picture
Hmm.
that we should not forget. Yeah.
So do you recommend for women, do you recommend weightlifting or some sort of exercise like a hit? um,
Yeah, I like it. I like the combine also with weightlifting. I think we should have. I like this metabolic training that I said,
Mhm.
that even in 20 minutes, with only with your body, you can get muscle mass, a little bit exercise, the cardio and so on. That was shown that is very very supportive for our metabolism, for our hormones, and it's really really nice. And it's 20 minutes, like, you do a lot, so you can do 2 times 3 times per week, like that. And then you need to walk a lot, a little bit cardio. It's also good because of the heart.
Mhm.
And but you don't need too much, and also some weight. It will be really good to incorporate in
Some weightlifting, yeah.
weightlifting.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes, and
well,
that you have, yeah, and that you have enough of proteins and
mhm,
amino acids, that you build your muscles, because when the time goes, you need more and more proteins, and you need to have healthy digestive system to
mhm,
really actually absorb what you eat, because
mhm.
it's not like you are what you're eating, but what you absorb and digest. So
So talking about protein, how Or are you referring to animal protein, or are you referring to more of a vegan protein, or
I,
either
the
or?
Yeah, either or, but we need to still know that uh, for me it's always you can do whatever, but always you need to think that is ecological,
Mhm.
even if it's that is growing in the right way, that doesn't have toxins, that doesn't have hormones, and because the food that is ecological grow, even it's these animals or the plant, is
Mhm.
completely different,
Yeah,
as
it's like, where are they coming from? Where are they being fed? Are they being treated the right way? Right. There's a lot to it. Yeah.
yes.
Because a lot of people can say, yeah, it's an organic chicken, but that organic chicken was locked up in a cage, like not in the cage, but in the house, and doesn't have access to the outside. Right. So there's a lot of these misconceptions, misunderstanding of what really healthy animal is. Right.
Organic chicken should be outside. I think, like, should be outside. All animals, we're talking now about animals, should
Yeah.
be outside. Absolutely. And this we need to think, absolutely. And because if they came to the world for this purpose, so they should have nice, and it's also much more healthier for us if we choose
Yeah.
animal proteins, because we need to know one thing I wanted to say, that the most bioavailable are still animal proteins, and normally all in anti-aging society, and so they're always coming, and when we're talking like Paleolithic, uh, because the uh, Paleolithic diet, because the change was so drastic, so fast for our body to adjust, that is the base that they all say that is the best to support. If
Mhm.
it's necessary, no, but it's this way. So the eggs are perfect, the eggs are perfect food. They have a lot of amino acids, and also lecithin and so on, also for the brain and so on. And then when you have um, proteins, like, we don't talk now about the powders, we
Mhm.
talk about the plant. If you have rice, if you have quinoa, it has all essential amino acid and so on, but you need to eat really, really, really a lot, and you need to be really careful that you glycemic index doesn't go up, because it will be damaging. This is really difficult. So when you're completely vegan, it's really good. You can do some algae, like spirulina or something like that. They have also, or some plankton. They have also a lot of proteins, but you will need a lot to absorb, and the balanced amino acids sometimes are not optimal. So
Mhm.
you need to add. When you go, you need to teach yourself what to add. You can do whatever you want, but I really suggest, because uh, for me, when I saw in my practice, a lot of women, they were vegan, they had a lot of problems with the hormones, with the blood sugar, with the insulin, with the stress, because of the not enough. So you can add some proteins. You can add. I prefer amino acid for
Mhm.
sure. I'm taking amino acid in the morning every day, and because amino acid, they don't need to digest, they are already there, and going in 20 minutes directly where you need them for build your body, you need from your hormones, and you need for your neurotransmitters,
Mhm.
and of course to build your body. So this is one option, or you can add some other proteins. Yeah.
So again, this will bring me back to women in perimenopause, menopause. Are we, um, do we need more animal protein? Because of, again, I think you said it, because we need more protein for the hormones, but especially for a menopausal woman.
Yeah, normally for all, when
Right.
you age, also for men, they need even more, they need quite a lot also
Mhm.
for testosterone, and they need cholesterol also for testosterone. We also need cholesterol.
Mhm.
And
Is
we
that
all
specifically red meat or any meat?
that's you can choose, it's plus or minus. There's some study, they were showing that it's not good if you eat too much red meat, but the studies was also, when you look a little bit deeper, they were not good kind of meat and was not good done, so it's also,
Yeah.
questionable. So I think you can eat all meat. I think you choose, you eat eggs, you eat meat, you eat also plant proteins, but whatever you choose, the important is that you have low glycemic index and a lot of colors of vegetables to
Mm.
protect yourself and to get the vitamins, and minerals, the leafy vegetables, the fruits, blueberries, raspberries, and so on, that with the low glycemic index, that's very, very important. And that you don't eat nonstop, that you give body to rest. So you don't eat like, every 2 hours or so.
Yeah.
Eat 2 times per day or 3 times per day maximum. And
Yeah.
and it's because the body needs time to digest, needs time to regenerate. And intermittent fasting is also for the women when
Mm.
they are coming to premenopause, really good hack to normalize actually the hormones, the insulins, because I
Yeah.
always say the insulin we started the first. Yeah.
Yeah. I usually tell my clients that make sure that you eat every 3.5 to 4 hours. And that's good enough so that way your blood sugar stays leveled and that way you don't spike back and forth with insulin spikes and then, the drops, so you feel tired, you don't have that energy. And I think that the
Yeah.
3.5 hours, 4 hours, it depends if you're hungry or not hungry.
Yes.
And yeah,
But
uh,
if you are tired after you were eating, you are not eating right food for you,
right. Or you're
So
craving the wrong foods, right?
yes, or because if the food with how high glycemic index or your body will
Mm.
respond like that, when it will be too high insulin, and then when we drop insulin, you will be tired, you will have headache, you can't think, you need to eat. So it's, and really important, how I see it's how you start the day.
Mhm.
When you have break the fast like breakfast, it's when you decide, it's in the morning or it's 11 or it's noon, it's just when you bring break fast. But that's the first meal, it's really have a lot of proteins inside, and some vegetables, because this will help you to have lower insulin all the day, you will feel better all day. So this is also very important. I was teaching a lot about metabolism, mitochondria, and so on, and also maybe measure your blood sugar, and you will see, because some people can eat some fruits and they are fine in good levels, but some people, it's
Mhm.
some quinoa give them like skyrocketing
Yeah, it creates a chaos for them. Yeah.
yes, and make house for them. And you learn how your body is working, and then you do on your metabolism, and then you maybe become stronger and you can eat more carbohydrates. But yes, it's like very individual, these. Yeah.
I love this because, like we were talking about earlier, that we are so connected, but yet we are all so different. And it's the
Mhm.
same thing when it comes to
Yes,
health, right? Food and everything. It's we are having this blueprint of us as human beings, but we all have such a different blueprint, different
yes,
needs, different um, things that we need in our lives, right? So
yes. And that's the beauty. The song is much more beautiful, it's the harmony with
yeah,
different instruments. It's like you can see how we are different. That's really the beauty, because we are also learn from each other,
that's
and
it.
all the aspects and all the views that we have, that they are different. It's beautiful, and it's
Yeah.
beautiful to open the mind and open the consciousness, and that's all beautiful. Yeah.
Mm. I love that. I love that. I agree 100%. It's just it's a flowing, it's like waves coming
Mm,
in. You don't always have a stagnant water sitting there. It's just constantly moving. It's just the movement
exactly.
of the water going. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
the movement, the life is movement.
Yeah.
And when it's stagnating, we don't feel. When we are like depressed, we are like in the particles, like down. We need to come
Yeah.
to breathe, to come to the waves, and
Mm.
all the emotions are good, they are not the bad emotion. Every emotion is teaching us something. But just we said, okay, I'm sad now, I'm not feeling good. I just observe how this going through my body and going out and disappear,
Yeah.
and then it's roll again, and this it's really helpful. And all the situation like we started, it's actually teaching us something, and we
Yeah.
realize that it's we are grateful for everything what happened to
Mhm.
us,
Mm.
and because it's really really opportunity to grow,
Mm.
and it's beautiful. And then when the time pass and we are like more wise every time, and then you see that all these like emotional clicks, it's really easier to go through it. You go in yourself and it's gone, and you are
Mm.
done, but at the same time, if you don't eat good, if you feel sick, if you have chronic disease, if you have not balanced hormones, it's very difficult. It's a
Yeah.
very very difficult.
Yeah.
You would like to have chocolate, you would like to have sugar, because the fast fix, and the body will fast feel good, will be adrenaline and all this energy coming, and then will drop you down. But then when you understand this, how you can feel if you detox your body and metabolism and balance your metabolism, and then it's completely other story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just stay open. Stay open and let the information in. And if you don't know where to start, it's looking for people like you. They can guide you and they can, you know, get you through that bump, I say. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Always they always come good people to you,
Mhm.
when you search, when you put to the universe, that I would like to learn something, I need to, they will come information the right for you,
Yeah.
and right people, and you go and you learn. And yeah, it's beautiful to
Yeah.
learn, to see, also different aspects. It's not a problem. You see different aspects, and then you choose what is synchronized with you,
Mhm. Mm.
so.
What is your one or two favorite books that you would recommend for people to read? One of
Hmm.
your favorite books.
Mm, my favorite book that I would like to, now I'm thinking, and I would go different topics to try. In Mark Hyman, you can read about metabolism and so on.
Talking
I,
about Mark Hyman, I love him.
yes, blood sugar
One of my
solution.
favorites. Yeah.
Yes. So it's Mark Hyman. Then Peter Attia book. It's quite okay. I was also here in Europe. I was checking the translation, and I support it. It's good book also to see the health of different perspective. And then I if you would like to go a little about I like actually now Gene Keys, the books, because they're beautiful, and it's a different topic now, and it shows you what is your Gene Keys, what is their number,
I'm
and you
dipping my toes in it as well. I just discovered Gene Keys literally, I think, in December.
yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah.
It's but I like it mostly because how was written, in which way. You don't. I always suggest read all these, keys, because it will give you insights, and maybe something will be synchronizing more with you and other not. And it's nice growing book to go into yourself. You don't need someone other to do that for you. You go and you see your shadows, how to transform, I said, to gold. And it's really nice help. And then you can go. I had already three. Okay. Maybe you can go, the women's, you can go maybe to some tantra reading, and it's really really interesting, the philosophy behind and so on. Yeah.
I'll definitely post that in the notes at the end of this conversation of some of your
Or,
favorite books. And
yeah, David Deida. David Deida.
okay, yeah,
David Deida. It's Deida. I think it's a French
yeah,
American.
David Data, yeah.
David Deida. I think they are also interesting about, you see, the energy and
Yeah,
what
I have one of his book called
so,
Women Love Women or something like that. It's a very, yeah, it's a very, it's, I think it's for both, for men and women, but it's mostly for women. And how can we get in touch with our own sexuality, for example,
yes, because this
right?
is very important. This is energy, the base energy.
Mhm.
We should talk about that.
Yeah, because we have been so disconnected
We are
from that. Our
disconnected.
religion has really shunned us from
Yeah,
that aspect of a woman, right?
and we don't understand that it's much more than
Mhm.
physical. It's much more,
Mm.
and it gives you so much energy. And can you connect to the higher self? I think it's at one. It's very nice. It's blue, something blue. I don't know. You can check maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know what is it, but it's interesting because I'm like reading few books
Oh,
in
I'm
the
the
same time.
same. The
So
only thing
like,
is now I'm reading that I'm like, okay, I should be applying these things into my life. So I'm like, okay, just one book at a time. So now I'm reading Edgar Tolle. So I
okay,
read The Now, and now I'm reading The New Earth. So I
okay.
just started to read The New Earth. So
We,
yeah, so it's kind of good because yeah, definitely there is a shift in this world right now. So I think it's like a perfect timing to read that book right now for me personally.
yeah.
Yeah.
And soon I could recommend my book because it will be coming out.
Oh
So
my
it's
goodness.
not, yeah,
Oh,
they are.
that's amazing. I would love to have that. Yeah, for
Yeah, I will
sure.
send it to you.
Yeah, please keep me
Yeah,
posted on that.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So this will bring me to question on how do you stay motivated and inspired in your mission to help other souls on this planet?
My mission is actually working with the public, and I felt that always, but they also show me the sun in the 11th house and so on and so on. It's funny, to compare this. And when actually you are in this soul path, and you actually, when you work, it's not hard to work, and when you give, it's just you get so much back, and it's rolling on its own, everything. And when you don't block what it should be, because it maybe can be completely different, maybe completely bigger, it's much, it can surprise you. So this is actually my motivation. I just go with the flow, and I work very hard, but it's just my way, because I feel in my bones that I am on the right frequency where I should be now. And that was not before, and needed to change a lot of things, and really right path. I came like late 30s, the back, where I should be. And then it's just rolling. And so yes, I'm really like what I'm doing. So everyone has different mission, and when they are doing some value to the people, it will go. And this is also less stress, and this is also much more easier, and we are much more happier when we are doing what we should do,
Mm,
why we are
comes
here.
from the heart.
Comes for the heart, always working from the heart, exactly, Alexandra, like you said. And it's like beautiful. And
Mm,
so for now, I don't need to find motivation. It's going.
that's good. And what would be your final thoughts for the audience that are listening?
My final thoughts, it's again, I strongly believe that the health, it's like, or that we need to think about all levels of health, like physical, mental, emotional, energetical, and spiritual. And when we address all these levels, we can start from one side. We can start for physical, we can start for spiritual, emotional. It will start rolling. And this is really important. What we should not forget, that we are all connected, that you are not alone, that you are safe. And actually, whatever is happening, if it's difficult in your life, it's it must be there for one reason. And let's be brave and take opportunity to use that, be grateful, and grow.
Mm, wow, that's beautiful. Tina, thank you so much for coming on. I know
Thank
it's pretty late where you are. I can see through your window.
you.
It's dark.
Yeah.
But
Going
again,
down.
thank you so much for coming and sharing your experience and what you do. I really, truly appreciate that. So,
Yes, I'm also happy that you invited me, and you have so beautiful energy that I couldn't say no anyway. So
oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, thank you, and we'll be in touch.